Your son can't come to Disney with us, my brother texted. Our kids saved their birthday money. Yours didn't earn this. My son works at a grocery store making $8 per hour. Saves every penny. I replied, you're right. Then I booked us a private VIP tour of Disney, $15,000. When they saw our photos with Mickey at the castle while they waited in 2-hour lines. My brother's text came in while I was sitting in my cab at a red light, watching sweat run down my coffee cup. Your son can't come to Disney with us. I thought I'd read it wrong. The light turned green, horns started up behind me, and I still sat there staring at my phone until the guy in the BMW laid on his horn long enough to snap me out of it. I pulled over at the next gas station, put the car in park, and opened the message. Mark, your son can't come to Disney with us. Our kids saved their birthday money. Yours didn't earn this. I read it 3 times. The words blurred, then sharpened again. Our kids. Yours. I looked up through the windshield. Late afternoon Miami sun, strip mall, palm trees, someone arguing with a pump that wouldn't take their card. Normal stuff. And here I was, getting told my kid didn't earn a trip he'd already been dreaming about. My hands started to shake. Not from caffeine. From that hot, tight feeling that hits you right before you either lose it or lock it all down. I didn't lose it. Not yet. I'm Liam, 39, taxi driver in Miami. Divorced, 1 kid, Daniel, 16. We rent a small 2-bedroom in Little Havana that always smells like somebody's frying onions, even if it's not us. I've been the responsible one in my family since I was maybe 20. My parents live up in Orlando on my dad's half-failed contractor pension. My brother Mark is 37, suburban hero with a marketing job, a minivan, and 2 kids who never seem to wear the same outfit twice. And me? I work nights, I work weekends, and my car's transmission sounds like a smoker climbing stairs. Somehow I'm still the one everybody calls when something needs to be covered just this once. Just this once has looked like $600 to keep my parents' lights on last summer. $1,200 toward Mark's property tax surprise in March. Another $300 here, for $100 there for kids' activities that always somehow meant my niece's private soccer camp, not my son's anything. A few years back, they even convinced me to open a family emergency savings account. We'll all contribute, my mom had said, hand over her heart like it was a pledge. So no one has to drown alone. Spoiler, only one person actually contributed. I'd been putting in $200 to $300 a month whenever I could, watching it creep up past 10 grand, then 12, then 18. My mom tossed in $50 once. Mark never put in a penny. They still called it our cushion. And through all of that, Daniel has been the quiet kid in the corner. The one who brings store-bought brownies to every birthday because I'm usually driving until midnight. The one they forget to tell about Cousin's Day until the morning of, if at all. Last Christmas, my parents mailed each grandkid a $100 gift card. Daniel got $20 cash in a plain envelope. It must have been a mistake, my mom said when I called. We'll make it up to him. They didn't. I let it slide. I let it all slide. Because that's what you do for family, right? You tell yourself they don't mean it. You tell yourself you're overreacting. You tell yourself next time will be different. Then Disney came up. The Disney trip started as a group chat 3 months before school ended. My mom, let's do something big this year. Before the kids get too old. Grandma and Grandpa want everyone at Disney. Mark jumped in immediately. We'll drive over. The kids have been saving their birthday money. They'll be so excited. My sister-in-law sent a string of castle emojis. My dad sent a thumbs up. Classic. I hesitated. Gas. Hotel. Food. Tickets. A day off work where I'd earn nothing. I did the math in my head like I always do. Dad, we can't afford Disney. Daniel had whispered that night, like saying it out loud would make it more true. We'll figure something out, I told him, because he'd never asked for much. And the way his eyes lit up at the idea of riding Space Mountain with his cousins burned into my brain. So Daniel did what Mark's kids were supposedly doing. He started saving. He got a part-time job bagging groceries at the store 6 blocks from our apartment. Florida doesn't care much about 16-year-olds, so $8 an hour it was. He worked evenings and weekends, came home smelling like raw meat and floor cleaner, and put almost every dollar into an old cigar tin on his dresser. Take some for yourself, I kept telling him. I am, he said. I'm buying something I actually want. Once a week we'd count the money. 20s smoothed out and stacked. 5s lined up, coins dumped into an old pickle jar. After 2 months, he'd saved $530. Barely enough for a ticket and maybe one day of food. I picked up extra airport runs. Worked later. The family emergency fund stared at me every time I opened my banking app. $18, $372 and change. I thought about using it. That's what it was for, right? Then my dad called. Liam, listen, he said, voice already in that tone I recognized. The one that meant he'd practiced the speech. Your brother's kids have really sacrificed for this trip. They've saved everything. Mark and Lisa are so proud. I could practically hear the halo over their heads. That's great, I said. And it was, if it was true. There's just one thing, he continued. We need everyone to cover their share of the rental house. Since you're single, we thought you could take the extra room cost. It comes out to about $1,700 for the week. That's nothing compared to what Mark's kids have done. I looked at my account balance. Rent due next week. Insurance. Gas. Food. I can't do $1,700, I said. I told Mom. I can maybe do $300 or $400 total. Silence. Then the sigh. The disappointed dad exhale I'd been hearing since I was 12. Well, he said, Mark's already booked the house. We can't leave them holding the bag. And like a complete idiot, I caved. I transferred $800 to Mark. Half of what he wanted, twice what I could safely spare. Thanks, man, he texted. You're a lifesaver. I figured that was it. Painful, but done. Daniel and I would sleep on a pull-out or an air mattress. We'd make it work like we always did. Then came the afternoon in my cab, the red light, and Mark's text. Your son can't come to Disney with us. Our kids saved their birthday money. Yours didn't earn this. The words burned. I could have ignored it. I could have called him. I could have typed an essay about Daniel's 6 a.m. Saturdays and sore feet. Instead, I did what I always did at first. I checked on my kid. Daniel was in his room when I got home, still in his grocery store polo, name tag tossed on the desk. He had his algebra book open, but he was scrolling on his phone. Hey, I said, leaning in the doorway. You got a minute? He looked up. Yeah, what's up? I sat on the edge of his bed, the springs squeaking. His cigar tin sat on the nightstand, lid closed. I didn't tell him about the text. Not yet. I asked, how was work? Fine, he shrugged. Mrs. Alvarez yelled at me because her eggs cracked. She punched the carton herself. But sure, my fault. I smiled a little. That kid could find humor in a house fire. He went back to scrolling, then paused. Uncle Mark texted me. He said, eyes flicking up. He asked how much I've saved. My stomach dropped. What did you tell him? I said like 5:30. He left me on read. Daniel shrugged like it didn't matter, but his voice had that tight edge to it. It's not enough, is it? I swallowed. We'll figure something out, I said again, and hated how empty it sounded. He nodded slowly, like he didn't quite believe me, then forced a smile. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Maybe we can go to the beach instead. That's free. He meant it. That's what killed me. He was already prepping himself not to be disappointed. I went back out to the kitchen, phone in my hand, Mark's message still open. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I could explain. I could send a photo of Daniel's blistered hands from pushing carts. I could remind him about the $800, the years of bailing them out. But explanations were for people who didn't already know the truth. Mark knew. He just didn't care. I stared at the screen for a long moment, feeling my pulse in my neck, my ears, the tips of my fingers. Then I typed 2 words. Me, you're right. I hit send. The 3 dots popped up, disappeared, popped up again. Then his reply. Knew you'd understand. We'll do something local with Daniel when we get back. Something local. Like Daniel was an afterthought they could pencil in once a year. My chest went cold. Ice in the space where anger sat. I didn't argue. Instead, I opened my banking app. The Family Emergency Savings account stared back at me. Available balance, $18,372.41. Underneath it, 3 names on the account. Liam O'Connor, Patrick O'Connor, Maureen O'Connor. My name first. Their names second. My money almost entirely. I'd been feeding that account for 3 years. Overtime, tips, side airport runs. While Mark took his kids on ski trips and posted photos of family first under pictures of matching pajamas, I thought about the passes my parents bought for his kids earlier that year when Universal had a promotion. My mom complaining she was so broke while handing them VIP lanyards. I thought about Daniel's $20 envelope. I thought about his face just now, trying to protect me from feeling guilty about Disney. They'd made their choice. I was about to make mine. I called the bank right then, the way normal people call friends. "Thanks for calling SunSouth Credit Union. This is Carla. How can I help you?" "Hi," I said. "I need to remove co-owners from a savings account." There were questions, security checks, on-hold music. I sat at our wobbly kitchen table, staring at the little crumb-filled grooves in the wood, listening to smooth jazz and the hum of the freezer. Carla came back. "Okay, Mr. O'Connor, I see the account. Since you're the primary, you can close it or transfer the funds today." "Primary. Not backup. Not extra. Primary. Let's go with closing it," I said. My voice sounded weirdly calm. "Transfer the balance into my checking." "Just to confirm," she said, reading back the numbers. "Yeah," I said. "All of it." 3 minutes later, a notification pinged. "Deposit, $18,372.41. The family account vanished from my screen. Just like that. My thumb hovered over the apps again. My brain whispered all the old lines. "This is drastic. You're overreacting. They'll be furious." Maybe it really was about the kids' savings. Then I remembered Mark's text. "Our kids saved. Yours didn't earn this." I opened another app, the one with a blue castle icon. I had never booked anything that expensive in my life. Hotels, sure. A cheap cruise once with my ex-wife. Years ago, back when we were still pretending we liked each other. But this? Walt Disney World VIP Tour Inquiry. The website had a read. 7 hours minimum. Personalized itinerary. Front-of-line access. Private guide. Starting at $700 per hour. Varies by season. I did the math the way my brother had done earlier. 7 hours times, it didn't matter. We needed more than 7. I selected 10 hours. Chose a day that overlapped exactly with Mark's trip. The Saturday he'd been hyping up in the group chat. Magic Kingdom Day. The quote popped up. Estimated total, $15,020.84. My stomach flipped. That was more than my car was worth. More than our rent for an entire year. I thought about clearing my throat and hanging up. But then I pictured Daniel standing on Main Street outside the park's gates while his cousins rode rides. Or worse, not even invited to stand outside. If I could send thousands to keep Mark's house from sliding into foreclosure, I could spend it on the one person who had never asked for a bailout. So I filled in my info. Name, email, card number. Hand steady now. A line appeared at the bottom. Confirm booking? I took a breath, heard it catch in my own ears. "Yeah," I muttered. "We're doing this." I tapped confirm. Another ping. Another email. "Your private VIP tour has been confirmed." The rest of the money, about $3,300, sat in my checking like a quiet backup. Not for my parents. Not for Mark. For me and Daniel. I closed my phone, feeling not triumphant. Not petty. Just done. For the first time in years, I wasn't planning around what they needed. I was planning around what my son deserved. I didn't tell Daniel right away. Partly because I was terrified I'd somehow mess something up. Partly because I wanted to see his face. 2 nights before we were scheduled to leave, I came home from a late shift to find him at the table, homework spread out, grocery store polo still on. "Hey," I said, dropping my keys in the bowl. "You free Saturday?" He snorted. "Depends. You skin me out." "Very funny," I said. My heart was pounding. It felt ridiculous. I was thinking, if you're not too busy not earning things, maybe we could go somewhere. He froze halfway through a math problem. "What?" I pulled an envelope from my backpack. Printed confirmation, park tickets. I slid it across the table. He opened it slowly, like it might bite. His eyes scanned the logo, the dates, the phrase private VIP tour stamped in bold. "Dad," he whispered. This is real." "Yeah," I said. "We're going to Disney. Just you and me. No cousins, no grandparents, no splitting checks. You worked really hard, and I've spent years paying for everybody else's fun. It's our turn." He blinked fast, then shook his head. "But it's so much. We can't afford." "I already paid for it," I cut in. "And before you say anything, yeah, it was a lot. But you know that family emergency account I told you about?" He nodded. "The one for when grandma has a stroke from stress." He made air quotes. "Yeah, I was the only one paying into it. So I closed it." I shrugged. Guess the emergency finally showed up. Daniel stared at the paper, then at me. "I don't deserve all this," he mumbled. "Yes, you do," I said. "You work at a grocery store making $8 an hour and still save more than most adults I know. You earn this." Maybe not in the way your uncle respects, but in the only way that matters. His mouth quivered. He pressed his lips together, nodded once, then stood up so fast his chair squeaked. Okay, he said. Okay, I'm gonna go pack. He disappeared into his room. A second later, I heard drawers opening and the thud of his suitcase hitting the floor. I leaned back in my chair and let myself feel something close to joy. We drove up to Orlando on a Friday night, my old taxi humming along, 95 like it was held together by prayers and duct tape. Daniel played DJ, switching between old rock songs and Disney soundtracks without warning. We sang horribly off-key to I'll Make a Man Out of You, with the windows rolled down, the humid air whipping around us. We checked into a mid-range hotel off-property, nothing fancy, but clean, and tried to sleep. I woke up every hour, checking my phone, the time, the confirmation email. At 7 a.m., we were in the Magic Kingdom parking lot. The sun was just coming up, sky cotton candy pink over the monorail. Families in matching shirts were already lining up at the gate, stroller wheels squeaking, kids whining. Daniel stood beside me, wearing his one nice t-shirt and a baseball cap. This doesn't feel real, he said. It's about to, I answered. At the VIP tour meeting spot, a woman in khaki shorts and a crisp polo walked up holding a sign with our name. Good morning, O'Connor Party, she said, all bright Disney energy. I'm Kara. I'll be your guide today. Daniel's eyes went wide. We get our own guide? You sure do, she smiled. 10 hours. Any park, any ride, as many times as you want. We put on our special lanyards. I felt ridiculous and a little lightheaded. As we walked toward the gates, my phone buzzed. Family group chat. Mom, everyone leaving the house. So excited. Mark, Magic Kingdom Day. Mom, where are you two sitting? Want to coordinate for photos later. I stared at the bubble, then typed. Me, we're already here. Daniel looked over my shoulder. Dad, I'm not hiding it, I said quietly. 3 dots appeared. Then, Mom, what do you mean already there? Mark, LOL parking? I took a photo. Daniel and me, with Kara in the background, the gates right behind us. I sent it to the chat. Me inside. No one responded for a full minute. Kara gently steered us toward the entrance. Ready to go in? She asked. Yeah, Daniel breathed. Let's go. Being on a VIP tour was like cheating at life. Kara zipped us through back entrances, cast member hallways, little gates I'd never even noticed before. While the standby lines for Space Mountain read 95 minutes, we walked straight on. Daniel screamed through every drop of Splash Mountain, arms up, water soaking his shirt. We rode Big Thunder 3 times in a row just because we could. Every time I glanced at the regular lines, kids shifting from foot to foot, parents trying to keep it together in the heat, I felt a mix of guilt and something that felt a quiet sense of relief. At 11 a.m., my phone buzzed again. A photo from my mom. Mark's family at the park entrance, kids holding their tickets, my parents smiling stiffly behind them. Mom, here. Where are you guys? Kara pointed at Main Street. Castle photos? She asked. It's less crowded if we go now. I nodded. Yeah, let's do that. We walked up Main Street, the castle looming ahead like it does in all the commercials. Kara stopped us at the perfect spot, flagged down a photographer, and started directing. Okay, dad and son, arms around each other. Big smile. One with the lanyards showing. Great. Now thumbs up. As the photographer snapped, my phone buzzed again. Mark, lines are insane. Already 45 minutes for Peter Pan. Where are you hiding? I looked around. Through the crowd I spotted them. Mark in his baseball cap, my parents behind him, the kids bouncing around their legs near the hub grass. They were squinting at their phones, turning in circles, trying to find us. Dad. Daniel hissed, following my gaze. They're right there. I see them, I said. For a second, I thought about walking over. I really did. Then I saw Mark's son tug on his sleeve, face screwed up. Why do we have to wait so long? My nephew whined, loud enough that even above the noise I could hear him. Because your parents think they own other people's time, I thought. I turned back to the photographer, wrapped an arm around Daniel's shoulders, and smiled. Let's get one more, I said. We took a dozen shots. Goofy ones, serious ones. One where we both pretended to hold the castle in our hands. When we were done, I pulled up the family chat. I picked the best one. Daniel and me, Mickey between us, castle soaring in the background, no lines in sight thanks to the angle. Me, found Mickey. Me. Hope the kids are having fun. I hit send. 5 full minutes passed. We got Dole Whip. Road Pirates. Cut past another 2 hours worth of people for Haunted Mansion. Finally, Mark replied. Mark, wow. Private tour? Seriously? Mom. Liam, are you with a guide? Dad. How could you waste money like that? My thumb hovered. Waste. I thought about the years of loans that were never repaid. The Christmas I didn't buy myself new work shoes so I could send them an extra $500 for their emergency. I typed, me. I'm spending my money on my kid. You should try it sometime. I locked my phone and put it in my pocket. Everything okay? Daniel asked. Perfect, I said. And for once, I kinda meant it. We park hopped in the afternoon. Kara arranged a car, flashed a badge, and suddenly we were walking into Hollywood Studios like we owned the place. Front row on Tower of Terror. Front row on the Star Wars ride. Daniel kept laughing this disbelieving laugh like he was afraid someone would tap us on the shoulder and say there'd been a mistake. At some point, he fell quiet as we cut past another line that stretched outside into the sun. What's up? I asked. He shrugged. I was just thinking. Uncle Mark said I didn't earn this. I clenched my jaw. He was wrong. I know, Daniel said quickly. I used to think they didn't really notice me. Like I was kind of invisible at family stuff. I thought that was better than them not liking me. He swallowed, eyes on his shoes. Now I know they see me, he added. They just see me as a less. It hit me like a punch. We were standing next to a fake spaceship in the happiest place on Earth. And my kid was quietly recalibrating his value in his own family's eyes. I took a breath. The air smelled like popcorn and sunscreen and something burnt. Look at me, I said. He did. You earned this. I told him, each word slow. You earn every good thing that comes your way. Not because you bag groceries or save money in a tin, but because you're my son. That's enough for me. His eyes went shiny. He nodded, then looked away like he was embarrassed. Okay, he said, voice rough. Okay, can we ride Tower again? Yeah, I said. We can ride it 10 more times if you want. Bet, he grinned. We did 3 more. Close enough. Around 6 p.m., we were back at Magic Kingdom for fireworks. Kara had taken us to a roped-off viewing area, front and center, with a perfect view of the castle. As the sky darkened, my phone lit up again. Missed calls from Mom. Texts from Dad. Dad, I saw your name on the Disney app. That money wasn't just yours. Dad, your mother is crying in the hotel. Mom, we could have used that tour for all the kids. How selfish can you be? I ignored them. Then a new message popped up. Not in the group chat. Directly from Mark. Mark, you're unbelievable, man. You closed the emergency account? Mom said it's empty. We were counting on that for the kids' braces and some repairs. And you blow $15K on a flex? Over a misunderstanding? My fingers itched. Not with the old urge to defend myself, but with something cleaner. I typed back. Me. It's not a misunderstanding. You told me my son didn't earn a trip he worked really hard for. You've all been happy to take my money for years while treating him like an afterthought. I'm done paying for a family he's not part of. 3 dots. Then, Mark, so that's it? You're cutting us off? Over one text? I shook my head and typed the line that had been forming in the back of my mind since I closed that account. Me. I won't fund a family my kid isn't part of. You're off my accounts. All of you. Have a nice trip. I hit send. Daniel leaned into my shoulder, watching the castle. Fireworks are starting, he said. We watched as the sky exploded in color. Reds, blues, golds reflecting off his face. He laughed when the castle lit up like it was breathing. Behind us, I could hear the distant murmur of the crowd, the oohs and ahs, the kids on shoulders. Somewhere in that crowd, my parents and my brother were standing with sore feet and full bladders, 2 hours deep into some line, wondering how the backup bank account had vanished. For once, their emergency wasn't my problem. The fallout started on the drive back to Miami. Calls, texts, voicemails about betrayal and good sons stacked up. I ignored them, went back to driving, came home to Daniel asleep on the couch, Mickey ears sliding off his head. Aunt Rosa finally called. You did right, Mijo. Took you long enough. I hadn't known how much I needed to hear that. Daniel's cousins texted him too. Grandma was mad. The trip looked awesome. What Mark said was messed up. One message just said, you earned it. I told Daniel, I'm not cutting you off from them. I'm just done paying admission. The quiet afterward felt peaceful. A month later, we started our own tradition. Cheap motel near Miami Beach, overpriced hot dogs, one framed castle photo on the nightstand. This is our royal portrait now, I joked. He smiled. I'm glad you chose me. I picked up his old Daniel O. courtesy clerk tag. We kept it, a reminder of what he'd earned, and of the only family fond I owe anything to, the one under my own roof.